You got is that thing going?
Yes.
Quorum is present. The meeting has been duly constituted. The first order of business is approval of the agenda. May I have a motion? And a second discussion. All in favour? Opposed? Carried.
Mr. Mayor, so we have an on-table item with respect to budget requests from council. We received an Excel spreadsheet, but we've manipulated it a little bit in terms of what we feel is appropriate for the open meeting. If you want to talk about some of the stuff that was on some of the other tabs, we'll have to have that discussion in closed, I think, because of some of the materials that's on there. So, but we do have a document that copies for everyone to pass around, which basically has the expenditure items minus the fire budget requests that were, I think, just came directly from the fire chief, and as well minus the staffing model that was attached.
Okay, well, we can certainly discuss some of that in closed if necessary, but the whole idea is that all of it gets discussed by council to see that it is what they do or don't want.
I think that's basically what you've got here is all.
Well, no, the fire expenditures and the staffing expenditures too, because I mean that's actually a predominant part of the thing.
Right.
So
I think perhaps the CFO is going to speak to some of the things that still have to come in as part of the budget process, because I don't think we've got everything yet. As I understand, there's still some public works things to come forward, and so I think. But I'll let her speak to that when we get there. I'm sort of holding us up here at approval of agenda, but I do have this.
Got this out of the way first, because you don't want to go. I mean, this is your show is not a document per se, but Peterson's.
yeah, well, I mean, I only asked for hard copies to be printed, so that you had hard copies in front of you of the thing that's going to be on the screen. The idea is to fix the slides.
These two are.
I'm hearing they're not the same. No.
No. This has been edited somewhat in order to be able to have a document that you can discuss in open meeting with respect to budget requests.
There's nothing that I intend to discuss specifically to do with staffing model, other than staff that don't exist today. So there's no need for closed as far as anything that I'm aware of. I agree that we don't have public works asks yet, but we do have the fire, and so we can talk about them, or we can talk about those at a future date.
Right.
The reason we moved the fire is, it was my understanding the purpose of this meeting was to look at the council requests and to rank them, and then on the 19th I would bring forward the council with the fire, because that fire budget has not been vetted in any way, and I've removed a lot of things in the preliminary budget as I had discussed at the prior council meeting. And some of the concerns about the staffing model was the accuracy of the numbers and the perception by the public if it were to be seen.
The staffing model clearly is, because it names individuals, that's obviously a closed meeting item. That's fine, although I would like to believe that that council is made aware of fire department's budget requests.
Well, they will, but that was at the January 19th meeting when the public works would also be there, plus the council, and we look at them all together,
That's fine.
consolidate them.
Okay,
and
I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, we can certainly take the Lions-based stuff out. I don't really care how we do it. What we're trying to do here, in fact, we shouldn't be having this discussion at all. This was all supposed to have occurred by yesterday. People reviewing the stuff that they'd been presented. But okay, so we didn't get that far. When I went through the other council members' asks, which were really Ron, I mean, you had about 5, Helen, you had about 5, Fred, you had about 10, a dozen. It took me 5 minutes. Mostly I said, yep, nope. In fact, it took me 4 minutes. So I don't suggest this is going to take a very long time. Any major discussion, it's too late. We're going to have to. We indicated that we would give Pam the council asks tomorrow.
You're giving the asks, but it wasn't my understanding they would be final, that they would be looked at with all of the asks together January 19th, and then we would take the next couple of meetings to fine-tune them and decide what we would keep to, fulfill the 300,000 we had without withdrawing from reserves.
No, the intention was that this was the consensus asks from council. Would be presented to you to go into the budget.
Would be the consensus.
And after that, we have to do the sums to check that the washing comes out in the end. clearly all of the asks, whatever consensus, we're not going to check that this is going to reach $300,000 with all the extra asks. No, we can't do that. We don't know what the other ones are.
No, that was exactly my point. There would be the consensus that this is what council wants. We would look at it with fire, with public works,
Yes,
with our
correct.
staff, and then drill down to what you were happy with as an acceptable draw from reserves
Absolutely.
and tax rate.
Okay, I suspect this will all come out in the wash pretty easily. I think we've overkilled this thing. So we will not discuss anything that needs to be enclosed, and we will remove from the presentation any fire department costs because for reasons just said. We'll only go with the council ask. This is going to be a 2-minute discussion.
Right, well, I'll pass this around, and
Okay, thanks. No, yeah, well, I jumped the gun a bit. I'd like to go fast, as you will have noticed. So, can I have a motion,
One more for you?
yeah.
Thank you.
an amended motion to... No, we don't need to amend. We don't need to amend the agenda. Everything is as it needs to be. The on-table item is slightly changed, but we'll discuss that when we get there. So, can I have a motion for adoption of the minutes of the previous meeting? Do we have any? Shauna? None? There being none, we'll move on. Sorry, I missed the public participation. I don't know if you guys...
I'm not public.
Yeah, you're not public.
No. Well, actually, Susan is.
No, you're not.
Susan's
I am.
resident.
I'm here as public.
No, residents got anything in public. Anybody in the world can attend. Idi Amin could come. We'd have to let him talk. There being no... Okay, so no public participation, no adoption of minutes, business arising. There are no minutes. Unfinished business, there are none. We'll move on to new business. Introduction of the CAO. The whole reason we're here. Welcome, Peter.
Thank you.
How's it going?
Well, it's going well. I think probably the first couple of days, as I think I mentioned to a couple of people, it's been like drinking from a fire hose. There's a lot of information to...
We haven't even opened the valve full yet, by the way. It's a small
Well,
fire hose.
I was waiting for my meeting with the fire chief before I opened it all the way, but
That's just the 2-inch line, right?
lots of information, lots of new things for me. Coming from a regional district to a municipality, there's going to be changes just in terms of the main focus and going through the community charter first, and then supplementary to the Local Government Act where required, as opposed to, normally I look at things the other way around. As well, just getting used to the systems in the office, where things are on the computer. Everything's new, different systems and even different browsers and so forth. So it just takes a little bit of adjustment. I've had a couple of other things to deal with as well, and so I'm just
Couldn't you
kind
have
of...
timed that better?
Yeah, well, you would think so, right? But I'm rolling with the punches, so to speak, and yeah, I'm looking forward to getting going on moving things forward and working with you all, and I look forward to being here and making it a great 3 or 4 years, for whatever's the balance of your term, and achieving the objectives that you want to achieve. So let's move on.
Fantastic, thanks. I think I speak for everybody when I say likewise. You're very welcome, very well received, and we're very pleased to have you here. And we're going to now jump right into the deep end with the budget discussion. So this document, as you are aware, came out of the last council meeting where I was tasked with producing a template that we could use to decide on each other's asks. In it, I placed the asks that we had. And there you see them. Now, it seems to be missing. Fire. No, maybe not. Yeah, the recurring expenditure is not in there.
We removed everything to do with fire.
There's also volunteer appreciation event, wildlife working group, community grant, long-term community service awards, and emergency planning, EOC training exercise. Expenditure recurring. Not here.
It went down to the bottom.
Yeah.
You're there.
Do you want
Is
to
at
know
the
when
bottom?
it is you're going through?
Right Emergency planning, long-term
Oh,
community.
there they are. I beg your pardon. Those four. Okay, so those are there.
It's only the fire that we've removed.
Revenue we don't really need to decide, although it's tied to potential expenditure, but we'll get there when we. So I will not show the spreadsheet. I will just type in as people go down them. So what I propose to do is to start on line 1. Have the proponent explain what they had in mind and take the opinions of the people who have not provided this yet. In every case, as you'll see, I automatically put the proponent as a yes for the thing that they were asking for. So the first one, Fred, is yours. Village-wide warning system, $50,000 capital spend.
Okay, that was in consideration of the emergency warning and everything. I mean, sort of thinking about it since we did this, and down there I've got I put in the 20 grand, or there it is, for evacuation planning, and I thought, what's the point of having a warning system if we don't have a plan in place to deal with it once everybody's warned? So I'm kind of thinking those numbers are now getting fuzzy. Should the 20 be part of the 50, or should?
So you want to revise the number or remove it altogether?
Well, that's what I.
So you're going 1 is the table pounding yes, 2 is no?
Yes or no are your choices, or a different number.
Okay.
Sorry, can I ask a question here? I'm just wondering where the numbers came from. Do we have that from the emergency plan that was recently?
Somewhere
Completed?
between educated guess and a formal plan, yeah.
Yeah, they're the ballpark. There's nothing exacting about
Right.
it.
Or from the ballpark, yeah.
Like, for
Yes, it should
example,
be.
the village-wide warning system, we've been given estimates depending on what we want to do, anywhere from about 20,000 up to 120,000.
Mhm.
So I really don't know where everybody's will is, where we should plant that.
Right.
That would need a further discussion, but in the budget process, we don't have time to do that, so put it somewhere in the middle, roughly 50, but then we have to decide, is that a priority? Do we want to go with that? Or
This is for this year, so this is not some future consideration. This is for the 2016 budget. Do we want to, in any way, absent knowledge of what else is coming down the pike, do we want to potentially earmark $50,000 for a village-wide warning system?
But my reconsidered opinion is it probably isn't best for this year.
Okay, well, I agree with that. I had it down as 0 for just, it was premature. Hughes is not here, Waterson and McLaughlin.
I'm gonna say 0.
Okay, Ron?
On yes, no?
Yes, well, yes to the 50,
No.
no,
No.
or a different number, or no.
No.
Okay, Fred, your next one is there too. Feasibility study, desalination plant. This came out of the infrastructure committee chairmanship work.
Yeah, we had talked about that to look into it, but our last meeting, it sounds like the prospect of a desalination plant on the committee is losing a bit of traction, so.
It's maybe premature to even consider spending the money. So just to give you a heads up on what the IC came up with through the engineer, they had somewhat misunderstood the concept. We were looking for a peak shaving plant, not to completely replace our water supply with desal, but to supplement low creek flows. They have priced out a desalination concept that involves long pipelines out to the beach, pressure pipelines up Harvey. Who knows how it's going to work? $25 million, I think. I can't remember the number.
Yeah, it's good for us.
You know, they completely missed the point of what we were trying to do. As I said to the engineer, if this committee recommended that Lions Bay in Rainy, BC, replace its water supply with a desalination plant, we would rightly be lynched. So that's not to say that we don't need a feasibility study for desalination plant down the road, which involves 3 phases: a pipeline, pressure pipeline from sea level, a barge supplied fresh water, and then a future desalination plant. I would suggest that not this year.
Yeah, I'm fine with that. Sooner or later, I'd like to see it happen, but.
And 5,000, just to remind us all as well, the 5,000 would be our contribution of a one quarter, 3/4 infrastructure planning grant.
Mhm.
So it would be, no, 1/3, sorry. It would be a $15,000 study of which we would pay $5,000. Okay, so we'll put down as 0. Everybody good with that?
Yep.
Okay. Next one is mine. Poster printer and cartridges. I think you know what this is all about. It's to do with the first of our priorities is to improve communications. Typically, we place posters on the sandwich board outside, printed on 8.5 by 11 pages that people read as they whip past in their car, or we do the same on the notice board. My proposition is to get posters that size, printed on our own printer. I've done the work. Printer is about $1,100. 3-year supply is $900.
Are there any places in town like that
There are.
would have color printers that would be able to do something?
We have
like
done that. Do you remember what that cost? $180, I think.
For one poster like that, it's about $40 a week.
Yeah, and I think we printed 4, for the different places.
Mhm.
So, in terms of outside vendors, I would like to err on the side of putting up posters when we need to, saying, something's happening. Not too many, obviously, otherwise we over-communicate.
One concern that would strike me off the top is those are usually fairly big machines, and I'm not sure
Yeah,
where
they
we
are.
would put that.
Reside.
Is that
There?
Was there an idea?
I was gonna say,
for
right
that?
under the-
Pardon?
They are relatively big. The one that I looked at is a 30-inch bed, that big. So yes, it's big. I would like to think that it could be put somewhere, maybe in a cupboard.
You could put it in the washroom.
No, I mean this cupboard here, where we keep the chairs. Or the storage that we got for our new $1 million renovation.
We would operate it from the closet.
Sure, it's
Sorry,
Wi-Fi.
is this, you guys are pointing at the wall, and I'm
Operation?
One of the other.
You talking
Storage
about
room
the
back there.
community hall?
I don't know where it would go. That's not what I'm
And
asking
where do
about.
these
I'm asking,
post-
should we spend the
And where
$2,000?
do these posters go up? Where our notice boards are? Or is
On the
there-
notice boards and on the sandwich boards that we will see in a second. Sandwich boards coming.
Oh, okay.
We'll be here all night unless we move on.
Exactly.
Yes. For $2,000, I mean.
Yeah, I think we could put it up for $2,000, and then if we change our mind partway along.
I'm gonna say yes as well.
Run, Big Husky. Birthday party. Come on.
It's not an expression you hear every day. Lighting around the village flags and municipal complex. Again, a very simple thing, solar-powered lights pointing at the flags. It's actually considered out of protocol to have a national flag flying in the dark. But quite aside from that, I think we could spotlight our flags. Again, it makes the place look a little better cared for.
Yes.
To me, that's a nice to have that maybe we don't need.
So it's $1,000 for a solar power spotlight for one flag.
Now 3 flags plus the installation, bargaining unit work. I think. I'll put you down as a no,
No.
Central beach remediation other than washrooms. The washrooms is a separate topic that Ron's brought up. This is handrails on the steps, redoing the landing at the beach level, which has now been undercut by the waves, fixing the landscape timbers around the steps, adding another garbage can, and fixing the picnic benches, one of which broke and injured a child this summer, as you will all recall. I sucked the number of 10,000 out of my thumb.
Yes.
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 This is tree exclusive. This is the.
This is to be scoped. The
Okay.
infrastructure committee has made a recommendation in the preliminaries. It would need to be scoped.
Okay.
But should we earmark 10,000 for it? The main thing that we need to do there is fix the landscape timbers on they are rotted. They're dangerous. I believe, in fact, the nails are sticking up. That when I saw at the polar bear swim.
Did you say there's a dock too, or
There is a dock that lives at the marina over the winter, and then it gets placed by the marina.
that this hasn't got anything to do with that?
No, we've got a dock. We bought a deck last year, actually.
More like a swim float.
Yeah, it's a float.
Mm.
Yeah, nobody ties up to it.
Is there a capital expenditure for the first quarter?
Do we need like a leasehold license from the feds to have that in the water, or do we have that, or?
You're asking us?
I'm
We
just-
don't- we
I
don't
don't know
know.
what's happened in the past, so
We certainly
just
do it,
curious.
and I believe we do have a DFO license,
Mhm.
not a lease. As you know, the seabed belongs to the province, the water belongs to the feds. So I think the feds gave us a license. The lease would be provincial, and I guess our anchor, but there's no lease required for anchors. Okay. Thank you.
Sorry,
More
do
difficult.
your answers were on that? Did we get the answers on all those?
Yes from Bain, yes from Burr, yes from McLaughlin, and Helen, yes,
Yes.
as well, right?
Yep.
I'm going to do it by paper rather than trying to do this one. Okay. Bus stop shelters and benches. Same argument. Livability.
Yes.
No.
Sorry, can I make a comment?
Mhm.
Having dealt with transit regularly over the last several years, I don't think you're going to get any shelters for $5,000.
Is it not a municipal asset?
It's minimum. Well, the community that benefits from the shelter generally has to pay for it. You can get a cost share from. Well, what I was used to doing was working with BC Transit on that kind of thing, but I would imagine TransLink has a similar sort of operation. I don't think they're going to come in and fund most of it or half of it even.
I wouldn't expect them
maybe
to fund
they do
any.
half of
And
it.
we've put benches up now already. And we have
Because
the
I think-
plastic chair as well.
Yeah.
We had bus shelters in West Vancouver. They were fully funded, but they had advertising in them. And it was highly controversial.
I wouldn't suggest we do advertising. I would suggest we
But it was-
build a
they were
shelter
very-
out
But
of
it did it because
plywood.
it was so expensive to build.
I don't know the answer, but didn't we build the one at Kelvin Road? And
Yes.
Rob did the one, actually,
The one in Culver Road cost $15,000, and we have discussed placement of one here with TransLink, and there are certain limitations as to where they actually will allow us to put one. So that is we have discussed it at Brunswick, so there are going to be limitations.
On our land?
Yes, with TransLink, because of where they have to park the bus and you turn it around, that kind of thing.
Okay, fair
But
enough.
the 15,000 was the last price. And
I
that
was going to say
I was
15
working
as
straight
well.
around the dollar value.
Okay, the number's gone to 15,000. What do we think?
To know.
McLaughlin, no. Waterson?
Still no.
Renovate and or replace all village notice boards and sandwich boards. $3,000.
yes,
I don't know if you've noticed, they're falling down.
they're not good.
Yes.
Helen?
Yes.
Bain?
Yeah, so we don't need Charles Atlas to move them.
Yeah. Install thermostat in council chambers, $250.
I'm not asking for 250, yes.
You sure about that number?
We'll
I'll do
have
it for
that-
100.
We'll have it firmed up. We're actually getting a quote.
Yeah, because I think
Having an
there's...
electrician in, we'll get a quote.
Yeah, I think the wire is behind that plate.
Oh, so it doesn't have to be wired already?
We'll find out when the electrician comes and he removes the plate.
Carl paid
And finds
250
it.
himself to death all day long. Let's get going.
Yep.
2 more log signs for Calvin Grove and Brunswick Beach. The Lions Bay sign that we see out here is fine. Welcome to Lions Bay. Great. Very sort of rustic, rural, all that nice stuff. We still have to get Public Works to agree to take down outdoor water use sign, I know. But I'd like to do the same at Calvin and at Brunswick. They're also part of Lions Bay and they don't get any signs. So it's Lions Bay, and if maybe we do Brunswick neighborhood and Brunswick Beach neighborhood and Calvin Grove neighborhood underneath. But I would like Lions Bay signs there.
For $3,000, you think you can get 2 signs?
2 logs.
2 logs, he's gonna copy the format or something
Yeah,
like that.
no, exactly
Copy
the same.
format.
I don't know what they cost, but I would guess 3,000.
Yeah, it's just
I don't. I mean,
Yes.
these are all pretty small asks, some of which should be within other budgets, but I'm specifically asking for them now. Speak fast.
Come on, we're only a third
Uh,
through.
No.
Fred?
Yeah, I'm okay with it. 'Cause I think
Okay.
You don't have to buy the wood.
Then we probably might get a volunteer on something like that.
Nikki asked me to put this one in. This is special survey markers that are installed by surveyor to millimeter accuracy using some special BC geotechnical service that will allow us to determine movement on creep on roads, specifically Ocean View.
Did Nikki give you the number?
No, I know the number from the surveyor.
Why is this out of our budget?
Well, it's
It's not our budget.
It's the special council budget. Why isn't it out of some other capital public works budget?
Oh, it would come from the
It would come. It must have been done. I would. So some of this will actually get allocated. These are our asks.
Carl's not gonna pass
Yes.
the hat.
Nikki wants it, she's gonna recommend it, so there you go. Fine.
It was more just a placeholder. Change rumble strips to speed bumps at school. This has been a long-term request, from what I understand. The rumble strips were installed as a quick fix to a promise. The residents are being driven mad by cars going under rumble strips. I don't know what you would know.
Yeah, just don't promise. The problem is the history of that is they've changed from one thing to another to another to another, and I
Yeah.
think before we agree on anything, there needs to be a good study to find out what is the final solution on this.
Okay, subject to recommendation. Fine with that.
Yeah.
Any chance the school district would help pay for it?
It's a municipal road. I don't see why
Can't
they
see
would.
why they do it. All right, subject to.
We don't want to rock the boat at the school. That's for sure.
Right.
They'll say thank you.
Alan, you go up there all the time. It's just a deal with you.
What is?
The road bumps. I'm sure when that
I don't like
Porsche is
it.
running down the hill. At
Well, it's not the
50 miles.
bumps. We want the bumps. It's the
It's-
rumble strips. It's the rumble strips that are the problem. So we'll end up with a lot of bumps. That's true. Or we'll just have to repave the whole road,
All right.
which may come as part of the infrastructure master plan and recommendation anyway. I think they also identified it. They said that's not best practice anymore. Rumble strips. Okay, Public Works radio equipment. We did a test with Ecom to determine if a radio relay was necessary. My understanding, although I've never actually got a definitive answer, is that the test was successful. Ecom is prepared to give us one Ecom radio and sell us 2 more. They're about $1,000 each.
That's all.
Apparently.
They're not intrinsically safe, then I take it.
Well, these would be for public works, not fire.
Yeah, okay. Maybe it's fair. Okay.
So currently, what are they using?
Very expensive. We spend, having signed checks, I would say that we sign checks for radio and paging and dispatch to about 6, 7, 8 vendors a month, totaling, I don't know what the number is.
So
So the
that-
radios for public works we have, I think we have 7 or 8, because that includes one for the office, which is what we need, so we need about 8, and it's 520 roughly.
Yeah. The problem is they don't work where we need them to work. So, you know,
So will we
they
have?
don't work up at the intakes.
Will we have a savings?
No, it would be more expensive.
No. But then if we don't need those other ones that we're currently
Because
using.
we do need 7 radios.
Oh,
Yeah, this would be only when they went to the intakes. I mean,
okay.
I even asked if sat phones would do the job because they look up, not round. But
I believe this is something the public works manager is addressing in her budget. It will be part of her capital budget.
okay, good. So,
Yes, for me.
Yep.
Yes.
okay, omnidirectional podium
Yes.
mic. $500. If you say no, I'm going to buy it myself. Oh, did I say that?
Good. I'll support you.
No.
Sound system is challenged.
But
Rap-
but is the podium mic going to help the sound system?
Yes.
Really? If the system is crap, what's the point of having a $500 mic?
No, there's nothing wrong with the amplifier. It's the microphones.
Oh, well,
They're like a karaoke machine you buy at Costco.
all right.
Good.
Except
We'll test it. If we don't like it, it goes back. Yes, the $500.
Wrap the box housing the PRV at.
Are you in, Helen, on the $500?
Yeah.
I want to do one of these numbers. The big green box outside the school housing the PRV.
Okay.
And so the new one that's just gone up, the one across from the parking.
By the school.
Yeah.
No, the about the new one that's gone up.
The new
Is that the one?
On the road.
Yeah, with all
Yeah,
the.
the housing the PRV. Yeah.
Okay. Yep.
Are you going to involve the Arts Council for your lovely little...
Well, these things are standard. And in fact, this one's pretty nice. Just I'll leave that up to Nikki. She suggested getting kids' artwork from the school, but
All right.
I don't
Well,
think that's a good idea.
I mean, to me, I'm a yes, but I think you need to involve the Arts Council, which is all the village art stuff, and give me a heads up on that fight.
Okay, Helen?
No.
You want the box to continue looking
No,
like it
but
does?
I just wanted. If I say yes, I wanted to relate to a council priority, and I don't know how that one does.
The second one.
High livability, fostering resident approaches.
So my understanding of this process is it's for a
Yeah.
fine tuning,
Yeah.
but still not a final
think-
decision. That will have to be looked at with all the other requests and what council wants their tax rate to be.
It's a nice.
And
Of course, I
to-
would like a nice looking box.
The only wrinkle is we'll have to get a recommendation from Public Works on it because my understanding the box was temporary. The PRV was only supposed to be temporary for last summer, but it turns out it works so well. Maybe they want to actually put it into a vault. So maybe we should be actually allocating money for a vault instead of wrapping. Talk about lipstick on a pig.
Nice lipstick.
I'm putting it here for really for
Well,
your
I think
purposes, man.
we're building the list. I mean, I'm a
Yeah.
yes, so.
I just want to get a sense of do we think that big green box is
But I'm thinking, do we think it's a priority?
well, frankly, putting this on the box is less of a priority to me than doing something about the box because it's too close to the road edge.
Mm-hmm.
It's dangerous. Let's say no on that one, but let's do something. No.
Drones that we can rent out on the weekend.
I hear they're going to be regulated all of a sudden. So this was an idea that came out of discussion from the IC. I just wanted to table it, if that's the correct expression. And I suggest that, because right now we can't inspect our intakes most of the time it's raining, which is most of the time. So the only way then to do that in an emergency is a helicopter. But I'm not going to propose that we buy a helicopter.
Are there periods when our people can't go up there too?
Yeah.
So this does that too?
Well, this go, so it's a fairly sophisticated drone because it has to be driven by its own viewfinder. But at least we could go up there and see if there's a big tree sticking in the pipe.
Yeah, they're really quite accurate. A friend of mine who was a geoscientist used one for inspecting dam sites and everything, and he could take beautiful shots with great clarity. But again, you get what you pay for. If you want to put an El Cheapo out there, you're just wasting your money.
I think 4,000 is not the El Cheapo.
It's
No.
not cheap, no.
Yeah. Well, his was $7,500.
Oh well.
But then there's the training on the thing as well. Like, they're really amazing. Like, you can just set them where you start, and the GPS will put it right back.
Yeah, bring it back, yeah.
So getting it back's no problem.
And can they run during inclement weather when it's like,
Hurtling down?
Crashing, yeah,
No,
no.
they'll crash. No, it's when we can't go up there, but the weather is stopped.
I'm a yes for discussion purposes.
Good point. I like that.
That's a little equivocal, but all right.
Well, I
okay.
mean, you gotta move on here, we'll talk about this, and what model, what color, I mean, what are the flashing lights? Come on, give me a break here.
Okay, permanently mount festive season lights on designated village trees. It bothered me for 10 years that we drape some Kmart, Walmart Christmas tree lights on the bushes. What I would like to do is go a little more sophisticated. Here are some pictures.
Gosh, those look exactly like the trees I just did in my place before I went.
There you go.
We have a connection now.
maybe Whistler has some they don't want anymore.
Well, the lights are not the issue. The lights are $50 or $100. It's putting them on
It's
the trees.
$50 a roll.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Is
retail.
that- Their budget for putting the lights on the trees
Yeah.
is very high.
They do it every year. I see a lot of communities just leave the lights on and fix the strings.
I just on this one, my light switch again, driveway now looks like this on both sides.
You can do it.
I actually could do it now that I've seen it done. And really it's the rolls of lights are $50 and that's retail. And you get a 50-foot string or something like that. So once you've got a box, it's then, if you want, you don't have to take them down, just pull them off the box and there you go, or a timer. Anyhow, long story short.
It's the detail. Do we want to improve the look of
Well-
the village Christmas tree? I don't even know which tree that is.
Well, it's accent lighting too, it's different things. So yes for $2,000.
Thank you. Oh,
Can we say $1,000?
I don't know what we can get for $1,000.
Because you say $50
Couldn't do
light.
you couldn't do my driveway.
Oh my God.
Talk to Ron.
Okay, I'm gonna say no.
No, I'm not in favor either.
Okay. Okay, we're out of my section. Ron?
Good, thank you, and with your forbearance, because I do want you to go to your party, I will look through my ones here and my ones down at the bottom, and I've got 3 other ones I'd like to talk about too. So, first one's first, the community sound system, you dealt with that, so that's just an X through the $4,000.
How come
No.
I got 2,000 for Bird and 4,000 for McLaughlin?
Because I was doing the whole thing. He's just doing the mic.
So is yours 2,000
Mine was 4,000.
But I think we can get away for 2,000 is what was going
for the whole thing? Is that what we're saying? With the
Uh,
mic and the sound system?
Sorry, the first thing is community center sound system, which I, not being the techie, it just doesn't sound good. I don't know whether it's the amps, the mic, the whoever, what it is.
It's the amps, yeah. The
But
speakers are
if
fine.
Carl's telling me that with the to, or the $500 for the podium mic, that we're good then?
No,
Well,
but
we
the
could-
whole thing,
would it be
even
better?
even the CD player is so it's like 1,000 years old.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're back to this. I had 4. Is there a different number? I
I'll
pulled
go
the
for
number
2.
out here.
2.
2, fine. I'll submit, readjust for 2, so I'm a yes for that.
Okay, thank you, Fred.
Yeah, I can go for 2.
Yes.
Dan?
Yes.
The transit to roads, this is the BC gas tax for 53 grand. I think,
So it's actually some expense, this is money that
yeah,
we've got.
so I think the issue here is, do we actually transfer it to roads and drainage, or do we put it into reserves and just do that? So I don't know whether you want to do this as a bigger council discussion.
Yeah, I think when we're talking about reserves, that
So,
would be a very
okay, so
appropriate for
can I
us to
leave this
defer.
with you to bring
Yeah.
back then?
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, I think the real issue there is, do we want to spend it or do we want to put it in reserve?
Well, you're
Is
right,
that
if it goes, then we're gonna tax for it. So that's the bigger discussion, so I think, well,
What-
we've been counting 53 in revenue in our.
If we don't have its revenue,
which
yeah.
If it's not, if it's revenue in, fine, it is, but then either it goes somewhere else. Okay,
Mhm.
so that's in Penn
It's a
World.
larger discussion.
Remove smell from venting at the Kelvin Grove Beach, previously taxed for, I don't know, I think, Carl, I defer on you, I think you said this was your prior livelihood.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what's been proposed. I assume some form of carbon filter. $5,000 actually sounds a bit low to me.
We had left this way back with Metro, who had, of course, they have situations like this all around the city, and they're little techies, and perhaps we could get one of their engineers to come out, do the quick, dirty assessment. I'd be happy with that and park it for next year.
I would prefer to do that because what's going to come out of the IMP is, I don't know, but I would guess a recommendation we're going to have to rejuvenate the plant
Okay,
altogether.
so in terms of speed, that's a no big extra for me.
So we're going to be looking at a lot
I'm
more than
withdrawing
five.
my recommendation.
Okay, thank you.
I think in this I've got 2 things, which is the beach plus an add-on. The central beach washroom, I think the lipstick on the pig, 20 grand, I now believe is a high number. I think my number, which I would do without any structural change, is just do paint and minor modifications such as outside shower and whatever porcelain we need. So I'm picking 10 grand, which I would be firm, and that is the absolute high number. So I'm going to stop there and say that not on this list, because is another request, and that's for $7,000. And that is for beach washroom cleanup and extra garbage services. Long story short, in my view, is that the kids and the visitors and the residents go in, and what a surprise, the washroom looks fairly mucked up after 2 hours on a busy weekend. Nobody cleans it. Using the comparative at the marina where their staff do it, and I'd be happy to use my fob to show you what it looks like in the marina. So basically they've done heavy duty paint job and just clean the thing every 2 hours throughout the peak summer period and stuff like that. And I think we can go with a modification on the structure, just repaint the whole thing and maybe replace some of the rotting wood on the actual structure. So the actual structure is just a paint and minor wood job. No new roof, no nothing new to speak of. But I'm picking 7 grand as continual, maybe not every 2 hours, but every 3 hour cleanup. Whether it's our people or, and this is Peter's job, welcome to life, whether we can outsource this as a construction. I preliminary talked to Ken a year ago. Yes, when their people go and do the washroom patrol at their place, they could probably bring the buckets, mops, and stuff like that, and the hoses, and do it at our place too. So that's part of the deal. Don't know what that number is to be negotiated, but I'm picking 7 grand just cause.
This is just for the servicing.
Just for and also the garbage pickup.
Yep.
Right now we've got the bins, which, you know, we're all Canadians, so we try and stuff the thing. People are jumping on the bins, nothing's going to go in, so the garbage bags sit there, and then the cups start falling on the side, and on and on and on.
Yeah.
So I think it's a regular servicing. So I would be happy to champion this with a little bit further direction, but bottom line, it's at 10 grand for the lipstick on the pig at the washroom, 7 grand for continual cleanup throughout the summer months, and
But one's capital and one's expenditure.
well, I'm gonna get the number out here.
The only reason I said no on the beach washroom was, are we not still working towards the donated washroom renovation?
I'll
You
be
believe it when
happy
you
to
see it?
guide people there every day. If that comes to fruition, this falls away. But I mean, I think all of us would agree we need to get going.
Make some reserve for it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and
Well, then I would say 20 grand for the beach washroom.
all in.
and $7,000 expenditure annually. Now, I mean, $7,000 to service the beach, which is mostly not Lions Bay residents anymore.
Well-
It's really just to make it look a little civilized. I think it's just a cost of doing business. If you think 7 is the number,
I think it is, but again, I don't, this is an outsourced deal, I mean, I'm thinking of the marina here because they've got the bins.
you think, but they would almost have to hire another person.
Oh, I don't know.
Well, I don't know either.
I
That's
don't know.
your job.
There you go, so I think if it was 20 all in, I think we're gonna, my hope would be that we get change back from that. I'm crossing my fingers.
Yeah, do we want to act and look like a slightly prosperous,
Well, the
welcoming
garbage
community?
needs to get picked up, I mean, the residents are.
But yeah, let's not. One is capex one time, and one is 7,000 a year. So we can always rescind it, of course.
Well, okay, so, but 20 is the number for the,
Well, I would go for 20.
I mean, yes,
Yes.
Done, thank you, so we'll call it 20 and call that.
And then on
that
your new
include-
ask for the 7,000,
So let's call it 20 and that includes the servicing and cleanup.
so 13,000 capex. Let's not
I
mix.
don't know the numbers. I don't know what can be done.
Well, we do know that the original plan was for 35,000,
Well,
and we're trying to resurrect that to a certain extent as a donation. So 20,000 you don't get much for 20,000. We do know there's no asbestos, and we do know there's no lead paint. So that those contingencies are.
I'm just trying to move the project along
Yeah.
because I think we're going to have to cut into this, the second piece of this.
So I would say 20,000 for the washroom and 7,000 a year for expenditure. Why? Because otherwise the place looks.
Okay,
it's
done.
public health
Yes,
issue.
yes for me.
Yes.
Arts Council beautification, 10 grand. That's no. Just I withdraw the recommendation.
I would have said no on that one anyway.
This is Helen. Is your parking? That's coming back to you. Okay, sorry. Now I'm going down to mine, which is Play School Community Grant. So that's really off this discussion.
Yeah, they didn't put in I sent in the application specifically, and they didn't put in the application, so.
Was this was this for this year's expenditure or something?
Well, I'm trying to do their Santa's breakfast for them next year, so we don't do an ad hoc thing and run through the hoops that we did this time.
Okay.
So I tell you what. Well, if they're not, Helen, can you make a call?
Yeah.
Thank you.
I mean,
So.
the deadline has passed, so you have to make an exception on the deadline, and I did send them a directed email. The person who ran it this year, and just said that here's the application if you want to apply for next year.
And they didn't respond, so we should leave it.
Okay.
How many? Just to interject. How many community grant applications do we have?
Maybe 5 in.
They all made the deadline.
good.
All the same from last year.
Okay.
In addition, the play school group.
Okay,
wanted-
great.
No, seniors.
Okay.
Seniors.
And I apologize, seniors, which we've already spoken about, the seniors, but when.
Well, I mean, if it's off, I mean, that's fine. The asset management plan, I'll circle that one. And this is, there's no hard cost, this is Nikki's time.
Asset management plan?
Yeah, I think she's gonna have to look at the infrastructure master plan, see what comes out of that, and work the asset management plan.
Do we have to add
Probably-
funds for that?
I don't know, but I would actually, given what we don't have the infrastructure master plan yet, and it may be
We don't-
delayed.
yeah, we
So
don't
I
know
actually
what's-
am gonna withdraw this one and see this
Yeah.
as 2017.
I said not this year. I mean, obviously we
Okay,
need one.
done, so that's a no. The tree cut thing, this is the, I think Nikki brought it forward, which was the tree cut all around the central beach. And to me, if we're in for a dime, we're in for a dollar, so a yes for me, I'm right.
Yeah, yes for me.
So we need to cut these trees because they're a danger?
So says the report.
So
I mean,
says the report.
I'm not the arborist.
Yeah.
There's big political fallout from this one, but okay, so somebody has to be brave.
Yeah, we went through this last year,
Yeah.
and the arborist's recommendation was that.
It's got to happen.
Yeah, so it's a clean up, tidy up, the whole 9 yards.
$5,000 is the number.
I think that's it's either 5 or 3, I've already written a number through it.
Okay, 5. It's got to happen.
Okay, fine.
Fred,
I'm
Yeah, I'm good.
Helen.
Yes.
Okay, going through the next one, cosmetic gardening around the ocean view. This is flowers and trees and junk like that, and it's for hard costs. I will arrange for the volunteers to do it.
I say no because it will be removed as part of the IMP work. The IMP is going to recommend a much more serious solution to the drainage issue on that corner of Ocean View.
Done, fine.
Reopening the culvert.
in 20, you would speculate
It would
in
need
this
to
year or
be-
next year?
I think it will need to be done like yesterday.
Okay, fine, I'm gonna withdraw on that one with that piece of news. The other one, which is also on the revenue, but I kept it on, and I would ask that Carl and Helen meet with this individual. So that,
Yeah, I've already
done?
connected.
Good, thank you, we're off, good, thank you. This is a series of no's. The neighborhood cleanup day, which is the, I had the former works manager cost this out for me. This is where people pile their fiber stuff on the side of the road, and then we go chip it, and we go take it somewhere else. It was 10 grand. I put it up as an example, but I'm a no on the 10 grand.
Yeah, it would be nice. I don't think we have the ability to do that, and I'll just the
It'd
next.
be outsourced. I mean, literally, they just start at the top of somewhere and walk down, throw the stuff on the side into their chipper. And
I think we have enough. A regular Friday pickup takes care of it.
Mhm.
It's a little more work, that's true, because you have to bundle and bag, but maybe that'll make you a little more careful. On the other hand, I think a lot of people avoid cleaning up their place because they don't know what to do with the stuff.
Well, the reality here is I have done the exercise where I'm getting work done as I will, and assuming council greenlights my tree committee application in the next month. When I negotiate with the faller, I'm doing so that everybody between where my house is and the Shores home gets the 1 day, put it on the curb and throw it in.
It may have to be done as an ad hoc neighborhood thing.
Yeah,
I mean,
so
it's
I think,
true that
I mean, to get a chipper in a truck is dirt cheap. You
Yeah.
just get it organized.
the problem is, Lions Bay is getting overgrown, and I know, speaking to my neighbours, that they don't like to take stuff down because they don't know what to do with the pieces.
There we go.
We have
So,
15 garbage cans.
so 10 G's is a big number, I think.
I mean, I'd love to do it. I don't think we can do it this year.
I'm putting it here so that we see this list again next year, so
Yeah.
fine, I'm a no.
Helen?
No.
No.
Same story for the junk day, which is everything from soda stream stuff to music machines and all that got hauled down to the public works yard. Lovely event, however, then the works yard had to repile the stuff and haul it all away.
And abused by contractors.
Yes.
And
thank you.
anybody
So
else who had something.
Again, I do it because I think it's important the community knows that we're thinking about this.
Yeah.
There we go, so I'm a no.
Nickname Dumpathon.
Yeah, there we go. And the stuff I got there didn't work anyhow. The other one, which actually, just the 15 grand, I'm taking this off because this is Pam's deal.
Well, as long as it comes to us some other way, I don't think
Yeah.
we need to. Well, we just need to increase the legal fees. By
So that's what you guys are gonna deal with that.
Potentially, yes.
And so, landscaping, I'm done, and I am done.
well, what about the landscaping?
No, sorry, that was the ocean view.
Oh, okay, fine.
Thank you.
Okay, Helen, let's go to you next.
Okay, so going back up into the middle, 17,500. I'm not even sure where this, because Ron, you put that number for the
No,
new
I
site.
came up with that number.
Oh, okay. So we need something for it. I have no idea what this.
We don't know what it is yet. We don't even know what the parking plan's going
Placeholder, maybe a
Yeah.
placeholder.
It's a placeholder, yeah, but I'm now thinking based on recommendations that haven't even been formulated yet, which may go as far as patching or even completely repaving the CN lot, which is now called the Lions Bay Beach lot, by the way, and restriping the trailhead parking. 17.5 is not going to be enough, plus signs. I mean, I don't know what the parking plan is going to say, but it will say something like, we're going to have less no signage and more yes signage. Who can park here, not who can't park here. So that's going to take some fairly serious sign investment.
Park here or else.
Park here or else. I like it.
Shall we just round it up to 20,000?
I know what the number is.
I don't know, but we need a number.
We need a placeholder.
We can keep it as a placeholder, and then as the
Super.
budget
Okay.
progresses and as they make the recommendations, we can fine tune
I mean,
that.
the parking committee meets tonight, and we may get some sense of where we're going
Mhm.
as a result of that. Okay,
Okay. So what is that? Yes?
I hear that as a yes.
It's a yes for me.
Okay.
You
Moving.
too, Fred?
Oh, we'll do that one. Here again, the evacuation planning.
No, sorry. I'm jumping the gun.
17.5.
The 17.5.
Oh, yeah.
You're good with that?
Oh,
Okay.
yes, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, let's finish off with Helen. Sure,
Okay.
Down at the bottom.
Sorry. Communication improvement. This is more, actually, I wanted to increase it to 10,000, and it's to put up the funds to replace the past lionsbay.net, and I don't know, do something with the website. Although we've set aside money on the website, I don't know what's happening with that.
There was some set aside this year,
And
a small amount.
do we need more?
Probably for next year, we will need more.
Yeah, the website is a free tool.
We'll have to rebudget it. We'll have to rebudget it, so.
I mean, let's not lose sight of the fact that there's 50 free website tools out there that make great websites. It's the content, it's the hard part. Somebody has to
But
write
someone
it.
has to
Yeah. which is
input it,
costly,
and there's
yeah.
there's costs involved. So it's two things. It's the website, as well as we need to find another communication vehicle to promote community news, especially now that there's more restriction on the current municipal update.
Well, I mean, what we used to do is subsidize the lionsbay.net to the tune of 12,000 a year.
So that's why. So
Do we want to somehow find somebody who's willing to maintain a blog?
a few people
or
have
a
said they
bulletin
would be
board?
interested.
I really don't think that I want to see a glossy
No.
quarterly magazine come out.
But if they can,
it's outside of the house and somebody else is
and
doing
if they can
it,
fit it within the
don't we
budget,
risk
right?
issues?
I mean, I would like to see a community-focused news and content outlet,
Yes.
but we need to talk about it. Is $5,000 is not
No,
enough though?
so I want to bump it up to 10.
We used to spend 12.
Did we? I thought it was 8.
No, it was
Is it- what
6
is it?
twice.
Was it 12?
It was 12, but that didn't include their money that they got from advertising as well, so 12 was just our contribution, and then they collected money from
Yeah.
advertising.
Other sources.
Sorry, we're talking about a website which is not the Lions Bay Municipal
It's actually
website.
a
Is that right?
publication.
Well, no, there's two
Yeah.
things. So there is so our current website, I believe we need to improve it.
Mhm.
There's been some money set aside for it, but I think we need more.
Well, I think there's a tool. It's all been. We're waiting to cut the content over to the new tool.
Yeah, I don't know what's happening. And then on top of that, it's a separate an online, community blog.
That previously was run by
A
some private
resident.
person.
Private
And
person,
they just
yeah.
contributed money towards it, but it was completely run outside the municipality by residents. I think it was actually physical, wasn't it?
Was it?
a
It was-
physical magazine.
It was
Quarter-
just,
quarterly
physical.
was physical.
Was it a society or
No,
a
just
non-profit organization?
Private people.
It was a for-profit, and one of the issues was we did not have any control over the content, but we did pay $12,000 for that.
I very much didn't like that. The reason we did that was because they then published our stuff. Apparently, our website was not adequate. So
Wasn't it also a case of providing assistance to a business,
Mhm.
potentially?
we
Unless there's
were
some
essentially
exception?
buying space. We were buying, I think, 8 pages.
8
a public,
pages or something like that.
yeah,
Mhm.
something like that.
Because currently there's no vehicle for community news.
Shouldn't that be
No,
something
hold on,
that's
this
an
one.
aspect of the municipality's website, or the village's
They
website?
said no. As it stands, it's a no.
Yeah.
No,
So-
that's not correct. Currently, the website that we currently have is very limited, so we set money aside this year to create a new website. We have the base of a new website developed, we just currently don't have the resources for somebody to upload all the content and write it. So I've got quotes for that, we just haven't had the time to do it yet.
But
And
then
at
would
that
it,
point, we
would
would be
it
able
al-
to have links. The whole communication policy would then look at what we're willing to advertise for other people, and that's a bigger discussion, that's
Yeah.
not a.
Mm. Why don't we, I don't know what's an appropriate figure to set aside, but one thought that occurs to me is having some money that's going to be used to work on updating or implementing the new website that's sort of sitting in the background waiting for somebody to work on it.
I think the money is
and-
there. We found out late in the day that there was money
Was the money,
allocated
which
in
we're
the
planning
budget.
to rebudget because we haven't spent it this year. And like I said, we do have quotes on.
but that
populating it.
aside, I
That's
was,
just the website,
I
you were
was told-
talking more about the village update.
but that aside, that specific website, I was told by Anne that it can only contain
Municipal,
municipal
stuff.
news.
God, all right.
Ready to tell you what, we could talk about this all night.
Yeah, I
I'll
mean,
go-
there's
I'll
a
go
bigger
yes-
discussion.
I'll go yes on the number,
Yeah.
but I tell you what, for the next round, I think I need a one-pager of
Yeah.
what's a deliverable and what are the risks of this. I mean, the issue here is that blog is nice until somebody goes off the rails and starts saying, I don't like Carl's hairdo and yada, yada, yada.
My wife just told me that this afternoon, so.
Well, stuff like that, so yes to the, to me, just
In
to move this
concept, yeah.
along, yes in concept, and I guess, so are you looking for 10 and 5?
10. I guess 10. I have no idea.
Well, it's a training here too.
No, training is the second. So the next one is follows along actually council priorities, where we said we need to develop a communication policy and style guide.
Okay, so back up to the 10 then,
So-
I'm a yes for the 10 in principle. But you
Yeah,
need
as
to
long
do
as
some
I'm
more.
with Ron, I need to know what that's for, because
Yeah.
I don't want to be subsidizing exactly that, some rag.
So can we earmark 10 and then I will
Alright, so
present
one
what it
pager,
would be.
I'm happy
for.
with that.
one pager mark for Peter and then,
So it's part of a communications policy, I think, which, Peter, I think is quite near the top of your list,
Right.
based on priorities. I'm glad to see that's framed. Okay, so
So-
you're good there, Fred?
Yeah.
10 grand communications improvement?
mhm.
So communication policy, I'm not sure about the staff training, I guess, to implement the communication policy, with including your style guide.
Yeah, like web training and all
I'll
that.
go the
good
same,
stuff.
but I need another one pager and
Yeah,
I'll get
same.
for 5 grand.
Same.
So, I mean, and I want the one pager from you and all.
Oh, okay. Something, there was a request that's fallen off, and that was for the part-time community coordinator for 35,000.
They went into the staffing model tab,
Oh, okay.
because there's way more than just the base number that we pay them, because of all the benefits and the extra. That's why
So
it's
it-
good in the staffing
It's
model.
gone somewhere.
But we can talk about that, because that's a person we don't have today.
No, we can't talk about that. When we get them closed, we can talk about that.
Okay.
Okay,
I'm conscious that you need to be out of here in 3 minutes.
okay,
I can.
I promise.
I'll stay until whenever.
Okay.
So, well, my
okay.
wife's at a dinner party, so I've got a little extra time.
Ah,
Okay, volunteer appreciation event or program. Actually, I didn't put that in. Ron, I think you put that in for me, so I'm not sure what that is.
I guess you wanted it, I was keeping tabs, but I think it was like a volunteer day or something like that.
Yeah, I'm gonna say no.
No? You're
That-
Yeah, I'm gonna say-
I don't
say
know
no.
what it is.
We missed the parking plan?
With the
Oh,
10
yeah.
grand for the parking plan.
It was duplicated, so,
Okay.
yeah.
That's a no
Was
and
it
no, okay.
duplication?
Yeah.
And then that's the placeholder until we get the results?
Yes.
Okay.
yeah. Wildlife Working Group grant, that was the 500 we had approved.
that's a community grant anyway, isn't
Yeah.
it?
Was
Okay,
it?
so it's actually in the current budget.
Okay.
Okay, fine. So that's a, well, we can take it out if we want to, but I don't think anybody, I think we already proved it by resolution.
we did, yeah.
And this long-term service award, I don't think it needs, except to make a plaque. Is this what the $500 for?
It's your area, buddy.
I didn't put that
I
amount
know,
though.
but I'm
Okay,
thinking
no,
for
it's-
you.
Okay, well, whatever it costs to do a plaque,
Fine.
Fine.
200?
Depends if we agree to do it. Community, so, I mean, we have debated this in some, we have a lot of things that we have written what each of these things you have to do to get them.
But this for me was, because most of these are for volunteers, I wanted to recognize staff.
Your motive is to keep
You
somebody
know,
beyond
Helen,
3 years.
Helen, I tell you what, just figure out what it is that you want and then yes for the small number.
Okay. I'll do a thingy for this as well.
Yeah, I mean, I could see a little bit more.
Okay. Okay, I'm
Okay.
done.
Okay, Fred, let's go, sorry, I completely messed up on your things here. So, we did your first two, and then you've got another one under evacuation planning about midway down the page.
Yeah, somewhere along the way, we've got to figure out how we're going to get the people out if we have a great disaster. Who knows when that's going to happen. I'm just estimating at 20 grand based on the conversations I've had with some emergency planners, but I have no quotes.
Yeah, you know, my thinking on this is, you know, it may or may not happen, that's correct. But I very much was not, I was underwhelmed by the emergency plan that we got. I haven't actually, it hasn't actually been officially received by council, I don't think, is
Not
that
yet.
correct? Yeah. I think we need to absorb that first, and if anything, augment that with an evacuation plan. After all, that it is. So is the number 20 grand? Well, if we're just using that as a placeholder, I wouldn't want to spend 20 grand on an evacuation plan.
Okay, I'm flexible. Yeah, I'm thinking more of a module that would be attached to the,
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
emergency plan.
And on that note, we were wondering, as you say, the emergency plan, we have an step of going through it, and then any recommendations they make, putting a value to that. So we could maybe change that and just say implementation of emergency plan. And then, because there will be recommendations in there that will have a cost to them.
Sure.
Are
I
there?
noticed that was missing.
Well, there would be some changes. Off the top of my head, I can't rattle them off.
Again, it may be a placeholder, we'll take a look at it, but.
So do we want to leave the number 20?
10 if you want, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't would be loath to earmark much more than 10 for that.
Yeah, I'm
Because
okay
it is
with
a real contingency.
Do you want this for this year, for next year?
that. As soon as we can is what I would
Yeah.
like, but with everything else that's on the agenda, I'm also a realist that it may not happen in a big
Are
hurry.
you making the recommendation, or are you withdrawing it?
He said 10.
Let's go for 10, how's that?
10?
Fine.
Fine.
And changing
Okay.
it to emergency plan implementation?
Sure.
Or, yeah.
And then at the bottom, Fred, we have emergency planning, EOC training exercises, 5,000.
Yeah, that's an ongoing thing, because to keep the EOC up and running, we have to get everybody trained and operating, and we also have to run exercises to make the emergency
Mhm.
plan work with the emergency planning committee and the EOC. The course is, I've got all kinds of ideas. I was talking to some people, a lady at the JI who's doing the training, and I was talking to INSAM in North Van with their system and everything, and we can actually bring in for the exercise, some exercise trainers. We can also bring in some training here that we could also sell spots in that training to other communities
Yeah,
too.
you mentioned that in council meeting too.
So
okay.
I think $5,000 would probably do us on that.
Is this something, I mean, I hardly need to point out that a lot of these things are really just reminders around the table that we'd like to see this in the budget. These are not sort of weird and wonderful things like, our own rocket launching pad.
Yeah, right.
That's going to be later. So, would this have been in the budget anyway?
No, not something
Okay.
like that, we didn't have that in the budget to, not so much an extra, but it's something that council would request, and we put a value to it.
Mhm.
And,
Again, these are contingency things. I mean, maybe
This is the cost of doing business.
it's cost of doing business. Exactly.
Well, part of the thing too is we've yet to assemble our emergency planning committee again, like reconstitute it, and then we'll be able to have a better idea on how we want to proceed with that. But budget season is now, so we got to put in a number for it.
Okay.
I'm fine.
Yes.
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 Got to do it.
So, now that we've gone through these, how I envision this, we fine-tuned it, we'll get a refined list. I see sort of more priorities being set in January 19th, and then drilling down into more details and getting additional information. For example, the free summer intern, we have it down with the new implications, we have to look into whether we could even do that.
Well, that's down on the other sheet, that's pretty, well, I'm not sure you've seen one, I mean, that's for Peter to deal with.
Yeah, but just to clarify, that's my understanding, that this is like a great first step in the budget. We tie some
Were any of
things
these a
off,
surprise?
Then, nope.
Yeah. So,
Well, no, I guess a few of them
I
are.
think some of them are.
Yes, some of them are.
such as?
Your Christmas tree lighting.
The Christmas tree lighting I didn't think you asked for.
of this don't you like?
I'd seen the pictures, so by not being surprised doesn't mean I necessarily agree. I just said.
No, I don't require agreement. I require
You
understanding.
gotta do better than Christmas lighting.
No, I'm not gonna say anything other than that.
Carl, we haven't addressed yours in the middle, have you?
Which ones are those?
This yet, though.
Proposed
Oh, there.
snowpack stream flow study.
Okay.
Oh,
It's not weird.
I'll just run you through them.
I think it's a big ticket items.
Yeah, I think some of these are important. Prepare the proposal for the snowpack stream for correlation study. This is a result of discussion that came out with the province, that we should prepare an RFQ, I suppose, for an academic study on snowpack. I'm going to take that one away. I'm going to write the bones of the RFP and then have Nikki municipalize it, and we might be able to get it out there and get people interested. I don't need to tell you what that's all about, although I will tell you, Peter. So what we're trying to understand is what is the risk to our water supply on a year-to-year basis, knowing the snowpack, the maximum and minimum extent of snowpack, absent weather events. So we're trying to understand why does the stream flow like it does when it does. We made a start on that this year, actually.
I just forwarded an email to Nikki today that was from which ministry, I forget which, but talked about snowpack and projections and all that kind of stuff. So I think the province does that, don't they?
They sort of know snowpack, not our snowpack, the real snowpack that counts. They have snow pillows, the nearest one's Garibaldi. But they don't go the second part, which is the resulting stream flow.
Okay.
You know, we have 2 streams that we rely on entirely for our water, and we need to know what the risk is of them running dry in September. You know, it's timely. I think we
Where are
made.
you withdrawing it?
I'm withdrawing it
You are?
Yeah.
Why?
because I think we can do without it this year.
So it's a 2017.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't exactly know what I want there yet. Well, I do, but it's not ready for prime time. Arborists to review public and private drought-stressed trees.
A private?
Because if a tree falls on somebody's head, it doesn't really matter if it was a private or a publicly owned tree. So I would like people, I would like a trained arborist to go around the village and to look at trees. There are several leaning. I'm aware of 2 that have fallen over, growing trees that fell over on the Centennial Trail. That's on school property. I think this would be prudent at least and wise at best. I got the thing around. We've got some trees that are going to fall down. We've had several already.
So once we've done the study and we've identified them, then we have the liability of then having to do something about it, so we'd have to put that in the budget as well.
Yeah.
Was there some discussion about formulating some kind of a tree bylaw, or was that something that was? I haven't
There is.
had a
We're
chance to get familiar with
we're
that
looking
yet.
to do. We're looking to replace the current tree policy / bylaw with trees, views, and landscapes. But this is not that. This is to understand if there are any dangerous trees in the village.
Well, as part of that bylaw, wouldn't you want to cover off what the village would do and what private homeowners may have in terms of responsibilities?
Yeah,
And
that's a good idea.
um,
So maybe we do.
therefore clarify that, you know, if they
We may
don't-
need the bylaw first and the study second, but I believe we need to do it. I mean, we had a bad. I mean, I don't need to tell you. When the wind started blowing in November, we saw a lot more pine needles than we did in previous years because the trees are stressed.
Right.
Being the only one who's had their neighbor's trees fall on their house, I can speak quite candidly about this situation. Going to private homeowners is just a no-go for me. I mean, it's an insurance company deal. And even if the thing was half hanging over and you pointed out to the insurance company, since your neighbor, they don't have any dope, stuffed beams, the insurance company say, call me when it falls and I'll write you a check. So, I mean, there's nothing but trouble there in terms of our own stuff. I'm fine with the number to do that, because, I mean, why have hazardous stuff?
I think maybe it's
I mean,
maybe it's even start as a 2-step process, but at least let's start with step 1 being assessing the village's properties and trees on the village property that may be a risk.
Okay, fine. So Ron, I hear you as a yes.
I'm a yes.
Helen,
No.
Fred.
I thought you said no. Yours is a no.
No, yes to
No to the
the
private.
public,
The public.
public
service.
property,
Oh,
not the
yes, to
private.
The private portion is the no.
Yes.
So we change it to the
I mean, it's the number at this stage.
So
Yes.
you're a yes now?
Yes to public.
Yes to public.
Okay. Well, I'm okay with the public part. I can't see how you're gonna get this done for $2,500.
No,
That
I
was
just
my
wanted
other
to-
piece, but you know what? Let's get
It's
a
very
number.
low. We did quite a bit of tree work this year, and that's not gonna cover anything.
Okay, I don't know what the number is. I just know we need to do it.
Well, you got
Change your
a
decimal
baby,
point.
you got a baby number. This might be an annual number.
Okay, well, let's just, can staff give us what it's going to cost? We need to do a tree survey. I mean, we did one last year to look for snowy owls or
And that's
something.
sort of what I was getting at, that once we fine tune this, we do need to go back and
Okay.
take another look at the numbers of sort of your final list and
Fine.
the
It'll be at
implications.
least 10, at least 10, if not a lot more.
Okay, the next one is a safety one as well. I don't know if you've noticed that I presume were used as the forms to pour the steps down to past the highway tank down to the bottom. Were never pulled away, or maybe never meant to be pulled away, but they're now all loose, rotting, and pulled away. Public Works hasn't mentioned this to me yet.
These
But
are the steps here?
yeah, the ones going down.
Oh yeah, the ones I just walked
Mine's
up,
better.
there's pieces missing.
Yeah.
Oh, those ones. Okay, I got you.
So
Mine's bad.
I don't know why we haven't seen a recommendation from Public Works on this one yet, but we need to do it.
Yes.
I'd be in favor of it because I don't want to see somebody getting hurt and then we're risking a liability issue if we know about it and we don't do anything about it.
Apparently we don't know about it, but certainly I know about it.
You know about it.
Yeah,
so it's
I
your
know.
I
liability.
just walked up to select the car from Mary.
I don't know what the number is again, but it's got to be done. Similar argument, but actually more pressing than the steps down at the beach. Although the steps at the beach are terrible as well. And those stairs are close to dangerous.
The ones inside the park?
Yeah.
Or which we've covered?
Yeah, which we have covered.
Okay.
Which reminds me, actually, Public Works was supposed to give us a year ago a recommendation on whether to remove one or all three of the three play structures. You know, we have three separate play structures as Lions Bay
You know what, I looked that in on the beach.
on the
thing.
beach thing. Yeah.
Okay,
Okay.
I'll
The
take,
risk assessment.
I'll take that in too.
I'll note this up that we're going to look for a recommendation on the number. 5,000 seems a bit low now that I'm thinking about it. I don't know what the structure of that. I don't know if those things were forms or if they were part of the design of the step.
I think kind of both. They built the form as part of the step and then just poured the concrete with it. It's not probably the greatest practice.
No, I was going to say that's not how you do it. Speak.
I was going to say we could use the MIA risk grant that we get every year to do a study on that and ask them and get them to look at it first for free, covered by a grant, and then if in fact they say yes, they do need fixing, then move ahead.
If they say no, they don't need fixing, I will personally pay for them to be fixed.
Did you somebody record?
He's gonna get a mic and steps.
Trust me, they will say they need to be replaced.
So that's
Okay.
done then? It's, you're doing it?
I think so.
No, it's bargaining unit work. I can't do it. OCP. I think we had it in, then we took it out.
Yeah, the number might be a bit light,
Yeah.
I think, for the OCP.
Yes, you're right. Because I also want to do a landscape architect's report and a land use report. 65 is what the number I had in mind. The question is, I don't know if we want to decide it around the table now.
Next year,
You want to do the OCP next year?
yeah. Because we've got so much going on right here.
I think it's worth carrying forward to the next stage.
It's going
More
to
discussion.
it's going to kill it's going to kill the start of any strategic project we have in mind for ever, let alone this year. I mean, it's just going to defer it.
Give me an example.
Land swaps, development prospectus for the Centennial lands, moving the Public Works yard to a 99-year lease property at the gravel pit. I keep
Okay.
going.
Strategy piece.
Yeah, some of it is not necessarily subject to an OCP,
I
but
mean, the bigger issue, just, you guys have got meetings and Peter's gonna go, I mean, the issue here is that the council's got 3 years left on the current term. If you don't do it this year, doing it next year leaves it a lame duck, because you wouldn't act on it.
you wouldn't be able to. Yeah, that's my point. That's why I brought it back.
Okay, so,
I don't know if we necessarily
Okay.
need to debate this
I
in
think,
detail now,
yes,
but I'd like to see it
okay.
earmarked in the budget.
Okay, I'm a yes for the next round of discussion.
What do you have in mind when you say land use report?
An overall land use strategy for the village. Where do we see the gravel pit going? Where do we see currently designated water catchments that are no longer water catchments? The use of the public parcels down at the north end of Brunswick. Do we want to acquire one of the lots at the point of Kelvin Grove to expand Kelvin Grove Beach Park? Do we think that highest and best use of Kelvin Grove Beach Park is a sewage treatment plant? That kind of stuff. High-level
And we
stuff.
have to do it anyhow.
And we have to do it anyway.
Is some of that covered off in the land use management plan that was just done?
No.
No?
No, that was only the start of potential development plan.
Yeah, more for residential than
Yeah.
our commercial stuff or our municipal stuff.
Yeah.
Speaking of Kelvin Grove, I think all those lots
Mhm.
at Kelvin Grove have just recently been
Yeah.
sold.
So I understand, but I don't know that nobody's told us.
Okay, shall we move on?
So do we want to earmark 65K for an OCP this year?
35 to 65?
Wow.
Yes. I'll point out that we did a $150,000 infrastructure master plan last year.
The OCP was in the budget last year.
At
Yeah,
for
we
how
did
It was
much?
the last
Yeah.
round.
But for how
Yeah,
much?
It was one of
It's
the
been
last
in
rounds.
perpetuity. yeah.
65.
40,000.
It was a 40,
It
yeah.
was 40, it's in 40, which.
The reason I think it needs to be more is because I believe we need a landscape architect's plan. That's not going to be a big deal, but do we really want scraggly pine trees outside our $1 million hall? Do we really want bushes growing up all the way along the channel? I don't know, but a landscape architect will tell us.
I'm a yes for the next round.
Take it to the next round, but still not, I'm not saying a definite yes.
Well, it's a big
Yes, yes, yes.
Okay, that's probably good enough for now.
And just planning legal title and prep, for Centennial Lands.
What's
Yeah.
our outside date for the OC? Is that next year or 2 years then?
There's no mandate date. It's suggested every 5 years. For that, we're 2 years late.
2 years late, we're in the second year of a 4-year term. If we don't do it this year, we'll do it, if we did it in the third year,
There'd be no point in us
there'd be
doing
no
it.
point in doing it, because you'd hand it over to the next council.
Yeah,
and-
that's
Alright, fine.
handing them a fait accompli is not cool.
No.
I'll defer discussion on the other one to a future session
Okay.
under 90.1 sub F. Okay. That's it.
Get the list from 350 to 300.
I haven't kept a running total.
No, that's best.
Okay, thank you very much. So we'll move on to the next item on the agenda, which is a meeting with MP Pamela Goldsmith-Jones. I didn't put this on.
I suggested that it be on there, just in case anybody wanted to make suggestions or had any thoughts about our meeting tomorrow. And so Carl and
It's the, she also sent her open house for her new office for the 14th. Is that what this is?
No, that's Jan 14, open to the public, yeah. This is, Carl and I are going to meet her tomorrow at 10 a.m.
Well, this was really just the mayor. I went, I set something up with her, and then I was like, hang on a sec, Peter should come along. So, is there anything, I guess, it was really just a get acquainted meeting, and I was going to ask where the line starts for the infrastructure dollars. But anything else? Now, there's two offers to meet. There's councils, I can't remember the date, and there's a public open house at our office. What I would suggest is that with the council one, we certainly will attend. I can't remember the date. I can look it up again. I think the email came from Team Pam.
Oh, I thought it was just one.
Well, it was just one. I thought it was the 14th.
Yeah, I stand to be corrected, but I believe that's... I'm not going to look for it now. Here it is, Team Pam. Dear Mayor, Council and Executive. Yeah, there's a... unless that's for the same public opening. No, maybe that's just the public opening. But anyway, that's on January 14th. I'd suggest we go. It's a good way to press the flesh, say hello to people. You'll meet the West Van people, the Boyne people, the North Van people.
I'm a yes for the 14th.
Yes.
I'll send this to you, make sure that you all got it. I know you sent it around, didn't you, Sean?
Yeah.
You forwarded it. So. Okay. Okay, good. Moving on. Public questions and comments. Resolution to close. I see there is one item on here. I didn't intend for this to become anything other than discussion of the budget, but
sorry, can we have a vote on the motion to close the meeting?
yeah. So may I have a motion to close and a second discussion? All in favour of closing the meeting?
Yes.
That's 3. I'm against. Motion passes. And we'll now go into closed meeting.
So, Shauna.
So we're coming back from closed meeting, and there's nothing to report out of the closed meeting. Motion for adjournment. Second. Favour. Opposed. Carried. Meeting adjourned. Thank you.